You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We are just the Bible Guys.
Just the Bible Guys?
Yep. That's
No. That's not it. We're the Bible Guys.
Yes, the Bible Guys.
Yep.
Like the Ohio State University.
Just the what? Why would you just defile this show like that?
Why would I elevate the show by mentioning the Ohio State University?
The kickoff week of college football, and you got to come out here and defile.
I was talking about the word "the."
No,
I said the Bible Guys, which reminded me of
why wouldn't you pick some other team?
Because that's the most
Michigan
famous
Wolverines.
Because they say "the" because it's actually pronounced.
Because they're dumb.
You stop.
Oh man!
You know that's a thing, right?
Yes, I know that's a thing.
"the." Okay.
Just nobody cares. Is what I'm trying to
That's
say.
not true.
You know nobody cares, right?
You know, my brother graduated from Ohio State University.
Really?
Yeah, so did my nephew went there.
Oh, that's fantastic. So he can use crayons. That's great. They must be so proud.
Actually, he's a commercial artist.
And Tinker Toys.
He's a commercial artist.
That's right.
So he can do crayons, yes. In ways that you and I cannot.
Fantastic.
Well, hey guys.
Isn't that good?
We are in a series, the famous sayings of Jesus.
He graduates from the Ohio State University and they take his training wheels off.
Okay,
yep.
Very good. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. We are in the middle of a series, Jesus' famous sayings. He talked about them on a podcast. Today we're talking about, actually this whole week, about Jesus' last saying, his final words.
Excellent.
And before we get to that, we have a segment. And now you're being me, and I'm being you. That's so funny. It is a segment called Who's Most Likely?
Oh, I like these.
Which are great because it's usually, you have to pick between two bad options usually.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. That's Would You Rather.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No,
Who's
this
most
one is
likely
just us trying to decide who's most likely.
Yeah, me or you.
Yeah, it's literally in the name, Chris.
Remember back in the day we had paddles?
Yes.
Where we flashed me or you?
Yeah, my face and your face.
Yeah, my face, your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to take number one?
Who's most likely to show up in costume just because?
I think you're very capable of that.
I'm capable of it. You're more likely.
I'm more likely. I would definitely say.
Your family has so many photos of you guys in costume.
Oh, for certain.
I have like maybe 3 or 4 of our family in costume.
Every week for Trunk and Treat or whatever it's called.
Every week.
Every year.
Oh.
You dress up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're there with stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You're right. We do more stuff like that.
Okay, so you're a pajamas guy. You walk in your house and put on pajamas.
I'm going to surprise you.
Do you have costume pajamas?
Do you?
Do you have like Superman or Batman? Or?
No, not that.
Not anymore.
I have Lions pajamas, but that's not the same thing. It's not like a person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like
I have
Marvel. Out what you need
I have Marvel pajamas, but they're not like a specific person.
Yeah. Okay.
But it has a bunch of superheroes on it. Actually, I have multiple Marvel.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So, number 2. Who's most likely to clap when the plane lands? Again, that's probably me.
I don't clap. People do clap. We landed in Africa a couple days ago and everybody clapped.
Yeah. You know what? I don't usually clap, but I do every once in a while. I'll join them in clapping.
Yeah.
I'll do it. So isn't that probably a little bit more than you? You probably would never clap.
I don't clap.
Yeah.
One time, we were coming in and we were the last plane to land coming into Houston, and we landed literally sideways. I don't know how the pilot put the plane down. So we're coming and I'm looking out my window straight down the runway as the landing strip we were coming.
Wow.
Like this, and we were just bouncing. And I can remember at one point, I don't know how our wing didn't hit the ground. Like
wow.
I was sitting just next, so I could see the wing, and it looked like we missed the ground by feet, is what it looked like. And then boom, he set it down straight, and everybody clapped. I clapped on that one. Everybody was clapping on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought, well, we're dying today, right? And we did it. We landed. So one time I did, but most of the time I don't. Okay, here's another one, Chris, and I already know the answer to this one. Who's most likely to start a flash mob?
Oh, jeez. I've done flash mobs.
Yes, so it's you.
I've been a part of flash mobs.
Okay, so you're 3 for 3.
I think I am.
You are 3 for 3 on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Few is. Okay. Number 4. Who's most likely to get rid of their smartphone and go back to using a flip phone?
That's me.
That is definitely not me.
That's me.
That is definitely you.
Yep.
Yeah. Now tell me why. Give me a sentence on that.
I think that the social media stuff and emails and texts have become an addiction, for one.
Yep.
But bigger, it's a leash. And
Yep.
people yank our leash,
Yep.
and they distract me from the things I want to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Right? Sometimes it's really important. Hey, we need your help on this. And they start a fire. They could have put the fire out, but instead they want me to come put the fire out. So there's sometimes that's it. Sometimes I'm the only one who put out a fire. So sometimes it's a good thing. They have me on a leash. They yank the leash. I come running. Other times people yank the leash and they pull me out of the focus I have with the person I'm with to watch a cat video playing a piano.
But most of the time not.
I'd say half. It seems a third.
But it
seems like a
seems-
third of the things are not emergencies.
Well,
but
yeah.
But they yank the leash.
But like a simple,
Two-thirds of the
but a
things are
simple
emergencies.
question isn't a cat video.
Yeah, but it pulls me out of it. It's the equivalent.
I cannot see anybody sending you truly a cat video.
I get memes, but yeah, it's the equivalent. I'm totally dialed in on this.
Yeah.
Me and you, or on this project.
Yeah.
Suddenly, ding, and people's habit is grab the phone, look at it. Now you just took all of your focus off that, put it on this, and it was not the most important thing.
Right.
Right. So I love the idea of going back to flip phones.
And by the way, my son,
But I won't.
My son Steven would join you on this.
Would he? Thank you, Stephen. You know why?
Yeah.
Because Stephen's genius.
Is he?
He is brilliant. That's
yeah,
why.
Yeah, he is a big fan of anti-phone, anti-technology.
Good for him.
Yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
and then
Because he saw it ruin his father's life. He doesn't wanna go
oh
down
my
that path.
word! Wow, out of nowhere, shots across the bow. Pew pew. All right, and then finally, number 5: who's most likely to secretly run a fan account for someone famous?
Ooh, this is your chance to come clean, Chris.
I there's no way I would do this.
Really? You never gonna admit you're Zac Efron president? Fan club president?
Like to run an account? I'm so bad at that.
Yeah.
I can't run anybody's
it's
anything.
the leadership part of it. That's what you're saying?
I'm saying it's the grunt part of it. Like I wouldn't even know what running an account means.
But who's most likely, I think, is the question.
Have you ever been a part of a fan club?
I joined the Bozo the Clown fan club when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you ever do it like when you were older, like a part of a fan club?
No.
Yeah.
Did you? Yes, he did.
I'm not gonna
Yes,
say.
you
I'm not
did.
gonna say what I
It's
did though.
The Taylor Swift fan club.
It's close. It's close.
Oh, now we got to know.
When I was 18 in
Okay.
1989.
Yes.
That's I just went to college.
Mhm.
Was the first year that Mariah Carey had come out with her debut album entitled Mariah Carey.
Right.
And so I received something in the mail on the back of a comic book
Oh, well.
that actually said, join the Mariah Carey fan club. And I was in college. And, back then, no phones. There's no cell phones, right?
Right.
And so by mail, I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And I became a member of the Mariah Carey fan club. And here's what's super bad. What's super bad? Well, first of all, it's super bad that I'm admitting this, right?
This is awesome.
But what's really, really bad.
Okay, this is the rest of the episode. Just so you know, unpack this for us.
No, listen. All of her fan mail was in white envelopes covered in pink hearts.
Nice.
Because apparently that's her.
Okay.
So I would receive mail at Baptist Bible College with Mariah Carey on it, with pink hearts all over the place, and the people in the mailroom are like, "What is your deal?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I just mailed this in on a whim."
Mariah loves me, and she just keeps sending this to me.
Yeah, and so I couldn't get out of that fan club fast enough. So, but I was in it for like 6 months before I finally did something about it.
Wow.
So sorry about that.
Okay, that is
An embarrassment. I know.
This is one of the best episodes, one of the best moments of our relationship right here. That you finally,
Admitted.
after all these years, came clean.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I doubt that my wife even remembers that statement.
Wow.
Like it was so long ago.
This is
and
the best.
I don't ever talk about it.
Okay.
Right?
I wouldn't talk about it either.
Yeah, I know. It's bad.
You just told a few thousand of your closest friends here just
I know.
now.
I know.
And it's on the
pretty
internet
bad.
for eternity.
Yeah, I
just so
know.
you know. But
It's
no big
pretty
deal.
bad.
I love this. Well, then I'm going to vote for you. I'm going to say that you are most likely,
Yes.
right? So you can't imagine doing it.
Yes.
But you're more likely than me to run a fan account for someone famous.
Well, speaking of things that we don't like, Jesus didn't like being on the cross.
Oh, no. No, that's
What?
terrible. Okay. No, that's all right. If that's our transition.
What?
Okay. No, that's great.
Is it wrong?
No, he didn't like
Is anything that I said wrong?
No, you are correct.
Speaking of things that you don't like,
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus didn't like being on the cross.
I'm sure. That's correct.
Yeah, you're right. It does sound a little sacrilegious.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was a rough
I
one.
want to distance myself from that one.
Should we edit it or should we leave it?
No, we'll leave it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we should leave it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
everybody's heard it already.
Well, and not only that, but not if we edit it.
I know, but we didn't. So here it
Okay,
is.
well, here's the thing. I wasn't trying to be sacrilegious.
I know. That's why.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay, all right.
weren't trying
It's
to.
about the heart's intent.
Yeah, that's right. So we are in John chapter 19.
Yes, we are.
And I want to pick up like in the middle of verse 16. Because I hate the first part of 16.
Stop.
No, I'm joking.
And Pilate turned Jesus over to them to be crucified.
Yeah, that part.
Oh, I hate it.
So
I can't
so then
stand
it says, so they took Jesus away, and carrying the cross by himself, he went to the place called the place of the skull, in Hebrew, Golgotha. And there they nailed him to the cross, and 2 others were crucified with him, one on either side, with Jesus between them. And Pilate posted a sign on the cross that read, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. The place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek so that many people could read it. Then the leading priests objected, said to Pilate, change it from the King of the Jews to, he said, I am the King of the Jews. But Pilate replied, no, what I've written, I've written. When the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they divided his clothes among the 4 of them. They also took his robe, but it was seamless, woven in one piece from top to bottom. So they said, rather than tearing it apart, let's throw dice for it. This fulfilled the scripture that says, they divided my garments among themselves, threw dice for my clothing. So that is what they did. Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Cleopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, dear woman, where's your son?
Here's your son.
Oh, here's your son. What did I say?
Where's your son?
You're correct. Just checking if you're paying attention.
You are correct.
Dear woman, here is your son. And he said to this disciple, here is your mother. And from then on, this disciple took her into his home. Jesus knew that his mission was now finished, and to fulfill the scripture, he said, I am thirsty. A jar of sour wine was sitting there, and so they soaked a sponge in it and put it on a hyssop branch and held it up to his lips. When Jesus had tasted it, he said, it is finished. And then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. There you go.
I had seen somebody, has somebody ever sent you videos and they say, watch this, it's incredible. And it's like a Bible video and it's like all these different studies and different things.
Sure.
Somebody had just sent me, a good friend of mine, Eddie, sent me a video and said, watch this, it's incredible. And it was God's command during the original Passover in Exodus chapter, whatever it is, 19. It was a hyssop branch, yeah. And the fact that it was actually requested to be a hyssop branch, to dip in the blood and put it on the wooden posts above the door, how Jesus is shedding his blood on the wooden posts of the cross.
Right.
And then they hand him up sour wine to fulfill his thirst with a hyssop branch.
Yeah.
So you've heard that before?
No.
Okay.
I was just picking up on the hyssop branch and realized where you're going with the other.
Yeah.
I was actively listening, but I interrupted you. And I'm
No.
sorry. I got excited about where you're going with it.
You nailed it.
I was anticipating.
So that's really what it is. It's the fact that both were hyssop branches. And remember, we just said this just yesterday on yesterday's podcast. We're going to get to heaven and go, no way.
Yep.
Right? There are probably little things like that where, we'll probably have a lot of time. Well, we will have a lot of time to talk to Jesus about it. And he'll say, oh yeah, the reason why I did that is this. The symbolism is this. There are going to be so many connected dots.
Yeah.
From the Old Testament to the New Testament, from the fulfillment, the promises and the fulfillments, that I think we're going to be blown away.
Yeah, I think so. And so it's interesting, they were supposed to put it on the doorposts and on the mantle above. And then, same thing with the cross. The cross was, the sides and the top.
Yeah, the vertical and the horizontal.
Yeah, vertical, horizontal. And Jesus said, I am the door, which is interesting. That's an interesting phrase that he uses there. But he's saying, I'm the one that's going to open the door to the kingdom. That's why God chose the door solution, I think. There's a lot of reasons like that. But anyways, on this one, here he is. He's on the cross.
Yeah.
They gamble over his clothes.
Yeah.
Which, incidentally, those must have been nice clothes. It didn't even have a seam in it.
Yeah. Well,
And so they gambled over his clothes.
they say let's not pull it apart.
Yeah. It's
So
nice.
so it has to be. Yeah. So people always say, well, Jesus was poor because he didn't have a house, because he always said he didn't have a place to lay his head.
Right.
But it never really said that. It just said that he just didn't have a place to lay his head.
Right.
There were a lot of people who actually supported Jesus' ministry who had means.
Yes.
And so Jesus was, I assume, well-dressed. He was a hardworking man. I'm sure he had rough hands. A carpenter is a hardworking man, right?
Yeah.
So, he's going to be definitely he has that blue-collar part of him. But at the same time, he was provided for as well.
Right. There's when we were in Tiberias, which is right along the Sea of Galilee, we were getting ready to leave and head down to Jerusalem. And I had the night before was looking through a book and realized just down the street, just down the road, is Magdala, where Mary Magdalene was from. And it's a newer excavation, not brand new, but newer. And there's a first century synagogue that the floor is still there and some of the mosaic and things. And there's a podium and a few things there. And so I wanted to stop there. I wanted to go see it. And the guide said, oh, yeah, we have time. So we went. And we had some people on that trip, some of our listeners that are, successful business people that have done some pretty meaningful things with their careers and have some extra resources. And I thought this would be a meaningful space to visit. So we go and we walk around. It's very moving because this is one of the few places for sure Jesus walked on those stones.
Right.
Looking at that little tiny synagogue, we know Jesus would have been there to teach in the synagogue. He taught in the synagogue.
Right.
So there we sit down. There's some seats in the area. We sit down and I read this passage. It says in Luke chapter 8, after this, Jesus traveled about from town to town, village to another, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom of God. And the 12 were with him, and also some women who had been cured of evil spirits and diseases. Mary, called Magdalene, Joanna, the wife of Chuza, the manager of Herod's household, Susanna, and many others. And these women were helping to support them out of their own means. Not him, them.
Right.
These 4 women funded Jesus and the 12 disciples, all of their ministry for 3 years. Right? And I just highlighted the fact that, hey, this town, Magdala, Mary Magdalene had a lot of things that maybe she felt like she wasn't qualified for significant ministry or big impact. But what she did is she funded the ministry of the disciples and of Jesus himself, right? And along with these other women that were a part of that. And I think that there's something special when we begin to realize we all can have a part in God's ministry and in what God is trying to do in the world around us. And that's what she did there. So you have... Jesus had donors, essentially, people that were making it happen. And think about, you and I are preachers, we're pastors. There are some pastors, they buy their private jets and drive their Bentleys and,
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff. But that's not who we are,
No.
right? But the ministry that you and I have, we could not do. It doesn't matter how, I tell people all the time, I think you're one of my favorite preachers. I love being on this team with you.
Thank you, man.
But your ministry is nothing if people don't give
Financially. Yeah.
right? My ministry is nothing. So I just got back from Africa. It wouldn't be possible for me to do the work in spreading the gospel and training pastors if there weren't generous men and women, business people who say, you know what, my ministry isn't to go to Africa. My ministry is to make sure somebody goes to Africa.
Yeah. You know what I heard?
And I love this, and this is how
Yeah.
Jesus' ministry worked.
I worked for a pastor in Georgia. It was my second church I worked for. And he once described, and I'll never forget this, he once described King David in the Old Testament. When David was praying for warriors, David had a mission. And the mission, of course, we talked about this on the Bible Guys, but David's mission was to conquer his enemies.
Yeah.
It was to wipe out the blasphemers. It was to wipe out those who, defied the living God. And so David was a warrior, who was a leader who was looking for warriors. So David prayed for warriors. And there's a part in the Bible where he says, God, send me those who will help me accomplish my mission. And he prayed for warriors. And then I remember this pastor that I worked for in Georgia said, those who have means to give financially are the modern day warriors that David prayed for. Because when God calls us as a church, as a nation, as a group of people, as a group of his called out people to a mission, a specific mission, those who say, hey, I can help get us there, those are the modern day warriors that say, hey, it takes all of us, right? And so, just like you said, I may not be able to be the one that actually preaches or actually trains other pastors or things like that, but I'm going to do my part. And so you're the warrior that David prays for.
Right.
You're the modern day warrior.
Well, the victory can't be won without the supply lines. Front lines can only go as far as the supply lines can go.
That's right.
They can only go as fast. They can only penetrate as deep into the enemy territory as the supply lines can supply.
Yeah.
And so together, there are no front lines without supply lines, and there's no purpose behind a supply line without a front line, right? So we need each other, and that's how it works. So this is the thing. There's always this idea that because Jesus didn't own a home, he must have been poor. But on the day of his death, they're gambling over his clothes.
Right.
Because it's such a fine piece. Go beyond that, though, and really the biggest issue, and I think the big topic for the day is when Jesus said, it's finished.
Yes.
Right? That's the big one here. And he tastes it, and he said, it is finished. And then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. And it was early.
Right.
Usually it would take days for people to die on a cross, and he dies in a few hours.
Right.
Right? Because the job was done.
So much so that they were surprised.
Yeah.
It actually says they were surprised that he would have died so early because he's such a strong man, right?
Right.
But they did, whip him 39 times.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
they brought him to the point of death almost just with the beating, but
So physically, he couldn't carry his cross. He had to choose what Simon of Cyrene?
Yes, Simon of Cyrene,
Yeah, Simon of Cyrene to help him carry his cross.
Yeah.
Because he just was physically taken to the limit.
So let me read the note. We love the Life Application Study Bible. And so in the note for this verse is fabulous. I don't know that I have anything to add to it. It said, until this time, when Jesus said it is finished.
Right.
Until this time, a complicated system of sacrifices had atoned for sin. Sin separates people from God, and only through the sacrifice and shed blood of an animal, a substitute, could people be forgiven and become clean before God. But people sin continually, so frequent sacrifice is required. Jesus, however, became the final and ultimate sacrifice for sin. The word translated finished also means paid in full. Jesus came to finish God's work of salvation, to pay the full penalty for our sins. With his death, the complex sacrificial system ended because Jesus took all sin upon himself. Now we can freely approach God because of what Jesus did for us. Those who believe in Jesus' death and resurrection can live eternally with God and escape the penalty that comes from sin. So when he said it is finished, he wasn't just saying, I'm done being on the cross.
Right.
That wasn't him saying, I had a guy, he was learning how to pray, and he couldn't remember that we end in amen. He's only a Christian for a few weeks. And so he's like, well, I'm done.
Right. Right.
That's not what Jesus was. Jesus wasn't saying, okay, I'm done.
Right.
What he's saying is everything I came
done
for.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus is saying everything I came to pay for.
Yeah.
This separation between God and man, this perpetual sacrificial process to atone for sins, it's all completely paid in full. There's no more debt owed. I paid it. I paid all of humanity's sin debt right here.
Yeah, and think about the hundreds of prophecies that were fulfilled.
Yep.
Even this last one of rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Right, because it actually says to fulfill the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the different things, especially during Passover week, that Jesus did, and he fulfilled prophecy after prophecy. So everything that was set in motion from the Garden of Eden, from the very moment that God killed the animals, and actually it was a foreshadowing of, the shedding of blood, forgiving sins and covering sins. And so from that moment to this moment, think about the thousands of years, and probably even the tens of thousands of connected dots that had to, all come together. And then finally, Jesus says, every single thing is done. It's all been completed. It's all been paid for. So every bit of it's been fulfilled. And then, of course, it's probably appropriate to say, then what? The veil rips in two, right?
Yeah.
There's a great earthquake, symbolizing that the old system is gone. The new system has come. Jesus had just established the new covenant at communion. So everything is just shifted over to, the sacrifice has been made, And all we have to do is put our faith and trust in the ultimate sacrifice.
The old system is finished.
Yep,
It's paid in full.
that's right.
So now
Awesome.
there's no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus because
That's right.
he paid the price.
That's what Romans tells us.
Fantastic, man. I love it.
Awesome. So that is our time. So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on the Bible Guys.